Jose Ramos Jr. It's a Monday, so you know what that means. We have to talk about, we have to react and recap what just transpired on Monday Night Raw. A huge main event. I want to give you guys an opportunity to join in on the conversation. So we're going to have some people here in the chat join us as we discuss what transpired on Monday Night Raw. Like I said, a huge main event. I want to give people a chance here to join us on the live stream. I mean, monumental. We knew it was going to be a big episode of Monday Night Raw, being that it was the fallout from Money in the Bank, where we saw Seth Rollins and Naomi win their respective Money in the Bank contracts, guaranteeing them an opportunity at a World Championship for up to a year. We're now on the road to Night of Champions, obviously emanating from Saudi Arabia, and we already have a match confirmed for that Night of Champions, and we'll get to that in a bit here. I do want to talk about the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments here briefly. Again, as we're allowing people to join us here in the chat, two individuals have advanced in those tournaments. Monday Night Raw had two Fatal 4-Ways, excellent Fatal 4-Ways, might I add, where we saw talent all across the board competing for an opportunity to earn a spot in the semifinals of the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. On the women's side, it would be Roxanne Perez, who outlasted Kairi Sane, Liv Morgan, and Rhea Ripley. Star-studded from top to bottom, I will say. Watching this show, I was very confident that would have been Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley, who is, a rock star. She's probably the biggest star in the company, let alone for the women's division. And I just thought, well, Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan have their thing going on. I love Kairi Sane, but let's face it, she was not going to win that matchup. No way, no how. So we have Roxanne Perez stealing the victory, essentially, from Liv Morgan and claiming that, hey, I stopped the pin. I stopped you from losing the match, Liv. I was just helping out my fellow Judgment Day teammate. But Liv Morgan doesn't see it that way. And Liv Morgan has a little bit of other business to attend to, probably at Evolution. But again, we'll get to that in a second. Roxanne Perez, I think, is a perfect option here to head off into Night of Champions, advance in the Queen of the Ring tournament. I think everybody thinks very highly of Roxanne Perez. She is the prodigy after all. And now we're seeing more drama here unfold in the Judgment Day. A little wedge being placed between Finn Balor, Dominic, Liv Morgan, Roxanne. The implosion of the Judgment Day is a story that is years in the making, and it seems that it might be going through another facelift here pretty soon. But Roxanne Perez advances in the Queen of the Ring tournament. And as for another aspect of the women's division, Liv Morgan, who had lost the matchup, got into it with Nikki Bella. WWE Hall of Famer Nikki Bella made an appearance, made a return in a way to hype as well as promote the new Evolution Premium Live event. Very exciting to see that the women are now getting another opportunity to have their own show. The first one was a major success, and I'm surprised it has taken them this long to capitalize on that. But nonetheless, it looks like we're heading towards Nikki Bella versus Liv Morgan. A good sparring match in terms of the words that were being shared between Liv Morgan and Nikki Bella, two contrasting styles in two different eras in pro wrestling. Because right when Nikki Bella was on her way out, Liv Morgan was climbing the ranks of NXT and then joining the main roster. So I'm actually really interested in this matchup. Again, contrast in styles. Take nothing away from Nikki Bella, who was a former multi-time world champion, and Liv Morgan. I mean, what a year Liv Morgan had, winning the tag team titles, the world championship, defeating the likes of Rhea Ripley, as well as winning the first ever Crown Jewel championship. So take nothing away from her. This is a matchup between two of the very best that the WWE had in their eras. Nikki Bella during her era and Liv Morgan in the current regime as well. Hasn't been made official, but it for sure is going to be taking place at Evolution. Let's jump right back to the King of the Ring, though. Sami Zayn, Penta, Dominic Mysterio, and Braun Breaker, for all my dogs out there barking off in the distance, had a fatal four-way matchup to try and see who would be advancing to the semis of the King of the Ring tournament. Again, this matchup delivered. All four men, uber talented, uber athletic, and I thought heading into this matchup, process of elimination, right? I thought that Sammy and Braun Breaker, because of their association, because of the feud that they're in right now, that's going to eliminate them from one another and essentially cancel them out. So I'm thinking, okay, we're down to Dominic Mysterio and Penta. I thought Penta would have been a nice surprise to see him advance, but that would not be the case. We would see LA Knight, yeah, come and interfere during the matchup, doing a little bit of payback towards Braun Breaker, who had attacked him on Friday Night SmackDown, as well as have a hand in costing him an opportunity at Money in the Bank. So LA Knight now is thrusted into this feud with Braun Breaker and presumably the rest of Seth Rollins' group. And Sami Zayn gets the victory. Super happy for Sami Zayn. I think very highly of Sami. You guys already know. If you go back to the live stream following Money in the Bank, I had said that Sami Zayn would be a world champion within the next year. I said he would win the Royal Rumble and win by defeating Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 42. Could we potentially see that earlier than expected? Because if he wins King of the Ring, he could challenge for that world title at SummerSlam. And could he win? Absolutely. But he first has to come and pass through the second round. Regardless, really excited for the King of the Ring tournament. Queen of the Ring as well. We saw some advancements there. And shout out to Johnny here in the chat because you read my mind. You got to talk about R-Truth, right? The Truth has set him free. What a weekend for Ron Killings. What a week for Ron Killings. Presumably was released last weekend, and through the fan support, the outcry on social media, as well as on Raw, NXT, and SmackDown saying, we want truth. R-Truth is now back in the WWE. It's a very interesting spot here because there are some people who believe it was a work and that he was never released. Then there's others who say, no, he was released, and because of the outcry of support, they bring back truth. Regardless of what happened, the fact is he's back. The fact is he is on TV again. But we knew heading into Money in the Bank, or excuse me, coming out of Money in the Bank, that this was a different truth. You know, we're usually accustomed to seeing the happy-go-lucky R-Truth, who's that comedic relief, the background character who adds a levity to the situation that is taking place. But when he attacked John Cena, that wasn't the truth that we knew. He had this face on him that it suggested a level of intensity that we haven't seen Truth with in a few years, in a decade at least. You'd have to go back all the way to 2011, the last time we saw a little bit of an edge to R-Truth. He comes on this episode of Raw, donning the hoodie, the mask, and he goes so far as to tell the fans that, hey, you brought me back, and saying that don't let anybody tell you that your voice doesn't matter, that you don't matter, and truth matters. But the crazy thing in it all, he gets scissors and he cuts his hair. He cuts his hair, shedding the R-Truth character, and now going by his real name, Ron Killings. There's a new attitude with Ron Killings, and if you've seen Total Nonstop Action, you would know that Ron Killings is a former world champion, has a little bit of an attitude to himself, and I, for one, am looking forward to this. I love R-Truth. Love the comedic effect. I think he's probably one of the best to ever do it when it comes to comedy in pro wrestling, but seeing this level of intensity from Ron Killings is refreshing. It's something new, and it gets me invested in what's moving forward with R-Truth, Ron Killings, his character arc. So that'll be a nice developing story within the weeks that come. Where are we going to go with it? Are we going to revisit a John Cena matchup here? And if not, who is next for Ron Killings? Very exciting. I'm looking forward to it, Johnny, to answer your question. I love the new attitude. You know, the hair was a little bit crazy there, and I'm assuming he's going to shave his head. But really looking forward to it. You have to excuse me. My allergies are kicking in. Johnny says, do you think we're going to see Roman Reigns fight at SummerSlam? Absolutely. It's too big of an event to not have the OTC there. He has to compete. Who does he compete against? That's something that we're going to have to wait and see. I still think Seth Rollins is a very possible opponent. You know, given how the wise men betrayed Roman Reigns, I don't see a world where we don't see Reigns versus Rollins, especially this close to SummerSlam. So if I had to book it, Johnny, SummerSlam would be the home of Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. And it's a 2 night affair, so it could be main event of night one. I threw up a post on YouTube asking you guys, asking the members of the J area, what did you think of this matchup for Night of Champions? John Cena and CM Punk revisiting their classic feud. And I asked you guys, how you feeling? Who do you got? And we're going to go to the comments here real quick. Gabs says Cena. We also have Dion underscore WI says Cena wins via shenanigans. Both solid points. I think you're both correct. I think Cena wins. I don't see Punk winning the title. At least not here. Maybe he's the one that defeats Cena, but not yet. Not at Night of Champions. So I'm with you guys. I appreciate you guys commenting below as well. Cena wins, more likely. At Robert Watford I6S says this should be bigger than a Saudi event. I will argue that the WWE should not even be there. I will contest to the argument that it should be bigger than a Saudi event. I would have thought that this was SummerSlam. I would have held off for this to be SummerSlam. No disrespect towards Riyadh and Saudi Arabia, but their audiences, they're not as passionate, I will say, as some of these other crowds. And maybe they'll prove me wrong. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. But I would have preferred this to be a SummerSlam matchup for sure, especially given Punk's history of his comments with the Saudi Arabia deal. Kind of surprised to see him already listed for that matchup, but hopefully it delivers. And if anybody can take out a great match for John, I'm thinking it's Punk. What do you think about the New Day song? I'm not a fan of it. It's growing on me. Like, it's fine. They're heels. I get it. But I'll always go back to the power of positivity. I'm a much more fan of that original New Day song. I would be remiss to not talk about the big topic at hand. We're getting more people here in the chat, so I guess now we'll discuss the ending of the show. The main event saw Jey Uso defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Gunther, having a rematch from WrestleMania 41. I will say, I think this matchup was an improvement. I thought WrestleMania 41 was a fine matchup. I thought this one was just a little bit better. And I feel like it had that added level of tension that Jey Uso has been banged up following last week's Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and then Money in the Bank. And on top of that, knowing that Gunther had tapped out at WrestleMania 41, it adds that level of tension, that level of drama. And you obviously had these moments here where they teased that Gunther was going to be put to sleep, and then Jey was going to be put to sleep. Johnny asks here, what do you like about the champ? What is there not to like about Gunther? Gunther gets the win, defeats Jey Uso, will carry that world championship presumably for another 7 months minimum, because whenever he's in the WWE, he's always been a champion. I think it's for the best, I will say, because sometimes it is the chase that makes the champion. Jey was a fine baby face. I enjoyed his run as champion, but sometimes it's all about the chase. And to have a guy like Jey Uso fighting for that world title again, especially given the lasting image of him and his son, defeated essentially, it's something that's going to be lasting. We'll definitely see a rematch. But Gunther's the new world champion. We'll see for how long he holds that title. Presumably for a while, because Gunther, when he's the champion, it is for a minute. Do I think it's going to be Gunther versus Goldberg? Yes. I do. And I think if Gunther's going to have... if Goldberg is going to have one more matchup, I think Gunther's a fine opponent. We know they have a history because of the event at Bad Blood. I'm not a big Goldberg fan. I will say that. But if it's going to happen, it should be against Gunther. for sure. Great questions there by Johnny. What do I like about Oscar coming back? I'm gonna assume you mean Asuka. I'm a big fan of Asuka. Loved Asuka since her time in NXT. Again, I'm not gonna pretend like I've watched all of her matches in Japan when she was Icona. Um, but Asuka returning is a huge deal for the women's division, and it couldn't come at a more beneficial time because of Evolution. Evolution's coming around the corner. Asuka being an addition to the roster and being an addition to that event is definitely a huge get for the WWE. I'm curious to see where we go with her because it appears that Damage Control is like no more. Kairi Sane is no longer really with Io Sky. She's doing her own thing. They're still friends. We know they're still friends, but they're not really as tight as Damage Control used to be. So Asuka, it'll be interesting to see. Maybe, hear me out, Asuka turns heel, faces Io. I would not be opposed to that. I think Asuka's a much more dangerous heel than most people give her credit for. So, um, a big hype regarding her return. What do I like about Nikki Bella? I appreciate Nikki Bella's resilience. For given what happened in her personal life and now coming back into the ring and having another run. Last time we saw was the Royal Rumble. I also have to give her credit for being one of the focal points of a time in wrestling when women's wrestling wasn't really a forefront. I think you have to give her that much credit. She held it down for when she was the Divas champion. I will say I'm not the biggest Nikki Bella fan. I'm much more of like a Paige, AJ Lee during that time. But again, I've always said just because you're not a fan of someone doesn't mean you still cannot recognize their contributions or recognize their accomplishments. She's a Hall of Famer, has won the WWE Divas Championship on a couple of occasions, and held it for a very long time, beating the AJ Lee record as well. So you got to give Nikki Bella her credit there as well. So I'm actually looking forward to her matchup with Liv Morgan. The sparring session, the verbal sparring session that they had on Monday Night Raw, trading words, that got me interested. That got me invested in the feud. I'm pulling for Liv Morgan, but I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the matchup. I'm looking forward to what they have in store for Evolution for sure. If you guys are just joining us, my name is Jose Ramos Jr. I'm a fan of professional wrestling. We're doing the Raw recap. We also did a recap for Monday Night, or excuse me, for Money in the Bank. So if you haven't seen the Money in the Bank recap, go ahead and check it out. We have it on our archives here on YouTube, where the live streams are available. We discussed everything that happened at Money in the Bank, and even shared some predictions as in regards to the cash-ins as well. Big shout out to everyone here also in the J area on YouTube because you guys have helped us get past 3,000 subs. You know, we for the longest were riding that wave of like 2.8 thousand, and in the last few days we've gotten to 3,000. Last time I checked, I think we're at like 3.1 thousand. So big shout out to you guys for continuing to allow this to grow and making this a part of your weekly wrestling obsession. Appreciate you guys so much. Here's to our next goal in 4,000. And as well, welcoming our new members of the Main Event Mafia who we had join during that Money in the Bank live stream. If you aren't a member of the channel, a member of the Main Event Mafia, you, upon becoming a member, you will have exclusive access to the videos that we have here on YouTube. You'll get those first-hand access. You also get first priority in the replies in the comments, as well as a unique championship title next to your username that helps us identify you as a loyal member of the Main Event Mafia. You get exclusive polls, posts, as well as other content here on YouTube. What I like about CM Punk challenging John Cena, it's such a throwback, man. I can remember being a teenager all the way back in 2011 when that CM Punk and John Cena feud had first started and leading into Money in the Bank, CM Punk had a lot of callbacks to his earlier promos with John Cena today, talking about how, the Boston Red Sox or the New York Yankees comment. He also alluded to the pipe bomb where he talked about, "Are you comfortable? Because I want you to hear what I'm saying." So many callbacks during their feud, and it's very ironic that the shoe is on the other foot, that John Cena is playing the heel who is trying to take the championship hostage and take it out of the company, and CM Punk is the one trying to take the championship back. But the only difference here is he's not trying to do it for the company. He's not doing it for TKO or the WWE. He's doing it for the people, which has been a staple of the CM Punk character since day one. He is a man of the people, a voice of the voiceless, and I'm super excited for the matchup. I would have wanted it at the SummerSlam event, but we're going to be getting it at Night of Champions nonetheless. Still looking very forward to it. Dion is in the chat. Appreciate you, buddy. Says the ring general put some respect on it. Gunther's the world champion again. That's a two-time world champion. Three-time if you want to include the NXT UK title. It was a great matchup. I want to hear from you, Dion, and other people in the chat. What'd you think of the matchup? For me personally, I think it was a step up from WrestleMania 41. I enjoyed WrestleMania 41's matchup, but I think this one was just a little bit better. And having Gunther go over, I think was the right call. I also will say, I don't want to be the guy to tell you I told you so. But I said that Jey Uso and Cody were going to win at Money in the Bank, and I've been telling you guys since last week, I had a feeling that Jey was not going to leave Raw with that world title. Whether it was going to be from Gunther or a Money in the Bank cash-in situation, something told me that it was not going to be the night for Jey Uso. Gunther leaves with the world championship, and he left Jey Uso passed out on the floor with his son around him, making a big reference to Rocky IV, if you guys remember that one. Ivan Drago beat Apollo Creed. Gave me flashbacks of that, and I'm a big movie buff, so whenever I see some kind of thematic reference like that, I kind of get a pop out of it as well. Shout out to Muhammad here in the chat. What's going on, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you stopping by on the live stream. I'm doing well. Talking Monday Night Raw. What'd you guys think? Go in and sound off in the chat below. I'll get to you guys here in the comments as well. We talked about Gunther. We talked about Sammy and Roxanne advancing into the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. Ron Killings is now here in the WWE, and Cena versus Punk. Roman versus Braun Breaker SummerSlam. I would not be against it, Sir Robert. Shout out to Sir Robert here as well, member of the Main Event Mafia. I would love to see it. I think it's going to be Roman versus Seth, but I would not be opposed to Braun Breaker versus Roman. Those are some big dogs right there, man. I'm liking it. Honestly, Jose, I just thought of something, but I'm going to answer your question. It was a cool match, but my thought is that with Randy getting his shot early and now Punk, it makes me think he's losing. Yeah, Punk is going to lose, man. Punk is losing. I would love Punk to be the guy to beat Cena, but he's taking that L. The match was cool, though. So far, I'm doing okay, just a little under the weather. Same Muhammad. Mine really is just allergies, but I hope you're getting better. Hope you kick out. Only because I think who else is Cena going to face besides the Cody rematch, but I think they're going to turn Cena. Yeah, they keep referencing and alluding to Cena making that regret of turning heel. And you could kind of see in his expressions that there's something there. He's going to turn babyface back. I do think Cody wins. He wins that championship back. Maybe he wins it at SummerSlam. I think that's a good shot. I do think he turns babyface again. What's going on, Julian? Again, another member of the Main Event Mafia. Appreciate you, buddy. Not losing to Punk, but I think Cody will beat Cena. I agree with you. If it's not Cody, I think Punk does it. But given the current, climate of the WWE right now, Cody's beating Cena. Cody's going to have this redemption arc because he lost the World Championship to John Cena. And now it's about reclimbing that mountain, beating the GOAT, and becoming the true face of the company. Cody wins it, I think, at SummerSlam. I would have picked Punk versus Cena at SummerSlam, but given that it's going to be at Night of Champions, I think we get the rematch. Cody versus Cena, with Cody going over. Okay, here's the thing, though. Now that I'm saying that, The winner of the King of the Ring gets the title match. Gunther just won the championship. Cody's in the King of the Ring. Does Cody win the King of the Ring tournament to face Cena? I don't think so. Because Cody is Cody. I don't think he needs that. I think Sami Zayn wins King of the Ring and challenges Gunther. And Cody gets his championship match with Cena regardless. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. You're going to have to forgive me here for the sniffles. Got my allergies kicking in. R-Truth segment stole the show, and Asuka return. I'm excited. I've never seen her wrestle. I think she's going to do really good. Man, you got to go back and see NXT, man. Because Asuka, when she was the NXT champion for like 500 days, fantastic. Asuka's fantastic. The R-Truth / Ron Killing segment, gold. I love it when they have this little semblance of realism to it. That felt real. That didn't feel like it was a part of the show. That felt like Ron was talking from the heart. Him cutting his hair and that's symbolic. Also saying that the truth has set me free. That segment was money. Love it. My only question is where do they go from here now? Because Cena, I think, is still with Cody. And then obviously Punk is going to be the priority. So where does Ron Killings go from here? Ron Killings is back. Damn right. Damn right. Check out TNA. Ron Killings is a former NWA World Champion, having won it back in Total Nonstop Action in the early 2000s. So, I mean, it's going to be cool to see him at this version of himself. I see Dion says Triple H feels like it has a Nick. I don't know about the Nick Khan one. Obviously, don't know. But I don't know if it was a Triple H call. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. I can't even tell you, right? I wasn't there. But them getting rid of R-Truth is ridiculous. I don't know if it was a numbers thing. It certainly could not have been a personnel thing because R-Truth / Ron Killings is going to be interesting to, transition to that name. But is a beloved member of the roster in the locker room. Everyone had such great things to say about him, and fans were devastated having him being released like that. So it does make them look kind of silly that like they let him go and now they're bringing him back. I'm just glad he's back. John says I liked him in NWA and TNA. It was a lot different than his current run. The R-Truth run from like 2008 to present day, nothing like that NWA TNA run. Bro, that R-Truth stuff was dope. You think he might win the WWE title? I don't think he wins it, but I do think he gets another shot. I think he gets another shot. But I don't think he wins it dethroned. I think Ron Killings is a fresh start. It ties into everything. It's great. And it's like crazy to think that R-Truth, damn it, Ron Killings, I'm going to stop saying it. It's crazy to think that Ron is in his 50s, this late in the game, and is getting a fresh start. Super cool. Can't wait to see what they do with him. And it's like a new, like you said, a fresh start for Ron. He can still have his comedic moments, but I think they're going to push that away for a moment here. He looked like a badass. I'm going to be honest with you. When was the last time you thought R-Truth was a badass? Ron Killings looked cool. Coming out of the crowd with the hood, with the mask, leaving through the audience. What kind of haircut? I think he's going to be bald. Just the way he clipped it off, it was like uneven. I don't know how you can repair for that. Coming from me, I don't know if you want hair advice. I say just shave it off. Shave it off. Maybe he has a fade, but it's just the way he cut it, it looked uneven. I don't know how you can salvage that. I don't know. But again, I mean, who am I to be giving out hair advice? I wonder when Bronson Reed will win some gold. He's too good to be a sidekick. I like Paul Heyman with Braun Breaker, and I think Paul and Reed just seems right. It's great. Is he balding or did he style it like that? I think it's a little bit of both. Let me keep it a buck with you. I think it's a little bit of both. Bronson Reed I think would look great with the Intercontinental Championship. You know, Braun Breaker had his run with it. Bronson Reed with the IC title, that's pretty cool. But Paul Heyman with that group ties it together pretty nicely. I wonder if Karrion Kross will be involved with Sammy during King of the Ring tournament. I mean, he might even cost him the match. Or maybe Sammy wins and he's trying to fight off the demon on his shoulder that is Karrion Kross. Good question, Julian. They're not finished. They're going to have a matchup at some point. Just worried if Karrion Kross is going to interfere. And another thing with Kross, man, the reaction that he got today, showing up during that backstage segment, Karrion Kross consistently getting a good pop from the audience every time he appears. But they don't have him wrestle. They don't have him in the ring talking. It's all these backstage segments. They got to do more. Breaker versus Fatu injected in my veins. That would be that would be fantastic. Breaker versus Fatu? Man, I would even say give it to me before Mania, but that's a big matchup that you want to have at WrestleMania. Who would win? Who goes over? That's a tough one to bet on. Once again, I want to give a shout out here to our members of the Main Event Mafia. Julian, Sir Robert, appreciate you guys. Dion says Fatu goes over. It's tough. I would not be mad at either one. If we're going age-wise, though, I think Fatu should get the push a little earlier because he's older. Breaker's going to be there for a minute. He'll be fine. I think I saw somewhere that Dominic Mysterio was older than Braun Breaker. I feel like both are going to be world champions, though. All three of them. Breaker, Fatu, and Mysterio. All future world champions. Write it down. Julian says, glad to see Bailey back. How could I forget? I didn't even mention about Bailey. Bailey makes a return. New hairstyle, really. Great to see Bailey. She's one of the best right now in the women's division. Presumably will be facing off against Becky for the title. I'm thinking Lyra also gets in there. Maybe a triple threat match. Should be fantastic, though. I'm excited for the CM Punk Cena stuff. Hope they bring back some nostalgia because both are promo savvy. It's a big fight feel. I mean, these are two of the very best of all time, especially like on the mic. It's just like, man, to go back to when I was a teen and watching these guys go at it in the ring, and now years and years later, it's very nostalgic. Shout out to San Fran. Just saw the title. You spoiled the show for me. Sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. But I mean, let's be real. You would have seen it on Twitter anyway. MVP, Bobby, Shelton, Ron, WWE missed this. And I love the Hurt Syndicate. And the Hurt Business run on the WWE could have been a lot more. They have a chance to do something really great. They have a chance here to actually, redirect the Cena retirement feud or the farewell tour. Because the Randy match I thought was fine. The Cody match was okay. This tag match was okay. The R-Truth match was okay. But if anyone's going to have a banger of a matchup with Cena, I think it's Punk. I think Punk can pull this out and have a banger of a matchup and have the best match of this entire farewell tour. They just have magic with one another. Money in the Bank 2011, 5-star matchup. Their matchup on Monday Night Raw in February of 2013, leading into WrestleMania 29, arguably better than the Money in the Bank matchup. Like, those guys, when they get in the ring, they know how to work. They know how to work. They know how to work together. So Jey Uso winning the title was a meh idea. I feel like he wasn't booked right when reigning, when all won the strap. It's like I was saying, San Fran. It's all about the lead up. They got behind Jay, and it was nice to see him as champion. He had a couple good matches as the world champion, but I do think Gunther's the right call. Sometimes it's better for the babyface to be on the chase, because once you win the championship, that's where like the real work starts. And I think there's gonna be a rematch. I don't think Jay wins it back just because I don't see them flip flopping it. But I think Jay winning the world title was the right call. Was the right call. And they did have him, hold the championship for a couple months there. So had a small reign. Maybe he'll get it back some other point though. Any idea on the fourth guy in the Fatal 4-Way? You know, no. I was thinking about that during the show. I believe who was in it? Bronson Reed, Sheamus, and Rusev. I genuinely don't know who's that fourth guy. Is it gonna be maybe who would it be? Ron Killings? I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to predict. What was the point of Jay winning the belt if he was going to lose to Gunther? Well, okay, here's the thing though. He was going to lose it eventually. We knew he was going to lose the championship. He wasn't going to hold the title forever. Him winning the Rumble is vindicated by winning the championship. So he didn't win the Rumble for nothing. He won the world title. Him losing to Gunther is all a part of the narrative, though. So I don't think it was for nothing. It gave him another level to move up in the card. Now main event Jay he's a top guy and he won the world title. So I don't think it was for nothing. There's some heavy hitters in there. It's a big boy matchup, man. There's some big boys. So that makes me believe, why wouldn't it be another big boy? Mystery Iguana is a great prediction, Dion. Because if you guys saw, they had played a little, highlight reel of Mystery Iguana during the matchup, and it felt kind of odd. It felt kind of out of place. I know it was highlighting him at, Worlds Collide, but it still felt a little random. Who's to say he's not the fourth guy? Maybe, but I don't think you bring him in just to lose a matchup like that in a throwaway. I do think whoever's in this matchup, what if it's no? I gotta check the timeline, because what if it's oh no, I'll say Ilya Dragunov, but I don't know what's the timeline of his injury. Ilya Dragunov, we haven't seen in a long time. Maybe Dragunov, because we haven't seen him in so long, and I feel like whoever is this mystery guy wins. And imagine if it's not Sammy, maybe it's Ilya Dragunov, wins King of the Ring, faces Gunther at SummerSlam. Book it. I'll take that. That's a great matchup. I think Ilya comes back in September. That's what I'm afraid of. But he trains like a monster. He trains like a beast, so I wouldn't be surprised if he came back early. Roxanne Perez advancing was great in my opinion. Can't wait to see her hopefully advance again. Yeah. Love Roxanne Perez. I'm a big fan of hers. Was the best part of NXT for a while. Triple H been acting sus lately, especially with the sponsors and ads. What's next? Steel Steps having ads. Is it a Triple H call, though? I don't know if that's going to be a Triple H call. That's a TKO thing, because Triple H just handles creative. This is more like a Nick Khan and Ari Emanuel type of an issue. I actually can see Rusev going on a run. I would love that. I wouldn't be opposed. Would not be opposed. Serious question, how are they going to turn Cena back to a face? I can see it being simple. I can see it being like, okay, Cena versus Cody. We're having the rematch at SummerSlam. Cody gets the victory. He beats Cena clean. No doubt. Beats him definitively. Cena has the championship, hands it back to Cody, raises his hands. The crowd is cheering for him. He now recognizes, like, you're right. I was doing it wrong. You're the better man. You beat me. Acknowledges Cody, raises the hand. The crowd's cheering. Cody gives him a moment. The crowd cheers Cena. I don't think it's going to be as dramatic as what we think. I think it's going to be a simple of here's the title, raise the hand, that type of a deal. Remember we discussed that the other day. It's so corny. The freaking ads are crazy. It's there's too many ads, guys. Shout out to Sam. What's going on? I don't know much about R-Truth. Why is he now a bad guy? I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's just serious. Like, he's no nonsense. He kept talking to the crowd like, hey, you guys brought me back. Our truth. He kept saying, like, us. He was referring to us as a unit, as a partnership. Still very much on the side of the fans. Came out with the fans and then left the arena through the fans. So I don't think he's a bad guy now. I think Sam, he's basically a badass at this point. He's an anti-hero. Has a little bit of an edge to him. So I don't think it was a full heel turn. But we'll have to see the advancements in that story. Plus, I can't see him being a heel when the fans clamored for him, they cheered for him, they brought him back essentially. It doesn't make sense for him to turn heel on them. So I could see where it would get misconstrued, but I do think we're just riding an anti-hero type of a line with Ron Killens. I could see him having his moment in the ring by himself, whether it is a win or a loss following a PLE, and he gets emotional, just like we see a glimpse at Backlash, and it just happens organically. I think so. I think you're 100% right. Basically, just seeing the errors in his ways, knowing that this isn't right. Yeah, I do think that it's going back to that Backlash moment where you can see him recollecting and reflecting on what is happening and like, is this the right thing? And little by little, we're going to see those little changes in his attitude and his body language. So I'm inclined to agree with you, Dion. Right on. Corporate is ringing everything, like McDonald's and Ronald McDonald. Walmart got no smiley face anymore, and Microsoft is killing Halo. This is a lot personal for San Fran, and I'd have to agree with him. I feel like we have a hint of a face. Cena, when he told Punk, let's do it, you could hear the excitement in his voice. I'm glad you picked up on that, Julian, because I heard that too, where he's like, "Let's do it," and it's like the way he said it. It was almost like this little flicker, this heartbeat that skipped. Like it reminded him of like the good old days. Like it's Punk. Like hey, let's have this matchup. Like there was something different in the tone of his voice. Awesome catch there by Julian. Sam says he cut his hair because deep inside he still wants to be like his hero Cena. They're both balding, wild, but it all comes back around. It's all connected. You're picking up on the smaller details. I love it, Sam. And they do say, a wise man once said, bald is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So Cena and Truth, they just got to embrace it, man. Come on. Bring back the white canvas, no ads, none of that stuff. But I guess it's the new era of Netflix. Go figure. The mat doesn't bother me, because again, like I've said previously, UFC and boxing, they have it on the mat. It's just the excessiveness, putting it on the table, putting it on the ladder. That's where I draw the line. That's where I'm like, what are we doing now? The mat doesn't bother me. We should keep track of how many ads and sponsors they have on the shows and how many matches. Oh, God. I could not keep up with that. Imagine having a drinking game. Every time you see an advertisement or a sponsor, you take a shot, you'd be buzzed and drunk by like the third segment of the show. It's excessive. I get, and it's like I said, I get it. It's a part of the business. It's all about sponsors and outreach and networking. But Jesus, people, when it starts affecting the show and the quality of it and the flow of it all, it becomes excessive. It's like these guys are making so much money. They're making the most money they've made in years. And I get it. It's mostly in part due to the sponsorships, but it's like, damn, when is enough enough? And my favorite thing is they will say, we've made this much money. This WrestleMania was the most profitable WrestleMania of all time. This is the biggest gate of any, of any event. And yet they're cutting people because of budget cuts. It's like, dude, you're making all this money. Gapsus will say you need to change your 2K behind. You are right. I have to. I keep forgetting that I got to take it down and change it. This is the first, well, I guess the second stream since hitting the 3K. So you are right, Gaps. Thank you for holding me accountable. it's a little bit of a slip on my part. I do got to get that updated. Appreciate you for holding me accountable. Quantity over quality, couldn't agree more. Absolutely. Dion says good night. Appreciate you, Dion. Thank you for being on the live stream, and thank you for your great questions and your great points. Have a good night, buddy. We'll see you again for another time. I wonder what's next for LA Knight after not winning Money in the Bank and interfering in the match tonight. He's going to be facing against either Seth, or he's going to be facing Braun Breaker. And I'm okay with that. I would have wanted LA Knight to win the match, the Money in the Bank match. That was my personal pick. My head said Seth Rollins, my heart said LA Knight, and of course I got to go with the head. Pause. But he's gonna go after Seth Rollins, and that's still a top feud for him. It's just he's gonna lose. He's gonna lose this feud. They're not gonna have Seth win, but it's a good spot. It's a good spot for him to be. Wait, you hit 3K? I did. I did, San Fran. We're currently at 3.1K, so on the road to 4K. I'm Ramos. I got you. I'll send in the new balloons. No worries. I appreciate that, Gabs. I appreciate that. We'll have it updated for sure. And again, thank you for reminding me. Bro, work is taking over my time to be on here. Lol. You're getting that work done. You're grinding. That's what Matt. Congrats. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You're a grinder, man. Thanks, Gabs. But you are right. I probably should. And I'm gonna take the fall on that one because she did ask me, "Are you gonna update it or take it down?" And I said I'm probably just gonna end up taking it down. So maybe we should go for 3 and have it in the background. My only thing, and I'm super appreciative for the 3K. Hopefully we don't have that 3 up for too long. Because I just feel like maybe it's just my intuition, maybe it's my gut feeling, or maybe it's just me being optimistic, but I feel like we're hitting a turn. I think we're hitting a spot here. We're turning a corner. Because we hit 3, now we're at 3.1. I just feel like maybe we're gaining some steam. Hopefully we get to 4 pretty soon. But I've learned to appreciate the small victories, appreciate the little things, and enjoy the process and building this with you guys. So I feel like you're right. I should put up a 3 because it's not just for the background. It's not just for me. But I want it to be a reminder that, hey, we're doing this together. We're doing this together. I feel like Triple H after curtain call. I'm telling you, man. You know what to do. 3K chops from me. 3K chops. 3K chops. How about 30? 3K? I'll do 30. 30 chops from San Fran. And hey, if you want to, low key, 30 chops from San Fran, and I'll put it up on the membership. Membership exclusive, I said. No, Sir Robert, I was gonna read that. Julian, what do you think about the AJ and Chad Gable match? I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it. I also liked it because there wasn't shenanigans to end the matchup. It had a conclusive ending. AJ won clean. Whenever we have a serious matchup between those guys, it's always great. Chad Gable's phenomenal. AJ Styles is phenomenal. Of course he is. I really enjoyed that matchup. San Fran says, you guys want me to chop him 1 right now? They don't want to see that. They don't want to see you chop me. Why would I don't think they would want that. Is that what you guys want? You want to see him chop me? But I did enjoy the AJ matchup. We talked about this too on a previous stream where some people were thinking that AJ Styles was a little bit washed, and I want to say that is not the case. AJ Styles is still a fantastic talent, a Hall of Fame, a Hall of Famer, a GOAT. Still got it. Kenta Kobashi, you know I don't like the Kenta Kobashi chops. I think there's, with all due respect to Kenta Kobashi, I don't think they're effective. I don't think they're effective. I'll take a Gunther Big Show type of a chop over that, just because I feel like it's more effective. But Kenta Kobashi's rapid fire chops, I don't think they don't really do that much. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the person I watched isn't doing him right, and Kenta Kobashi does him differently. We're gonna go live for another 10 minutes here. Sorry, unlimited resources. Who would be the first person you hire for your wrestling company? The first person I would hire. You know what? I would go for someone that has the wrestling mind and actually ran a business before and sees talent. I think I'd go Paul Heyman. Now, I would not trust him with my finances. You know, I wouldn't have him mess with the money. But in terms of acquiring the talent, in terms of building that culture, and even helping with creative, I think I would go with Paul Heyman. Again, I probably wouldn't have him touch finances, but I think Paul Heyman would be the first person I hired. Would you rather take a Walter chop or Bob Holly? I feel like a Walter chop because it's less personal. Yeah, it'll be red as hell, and it would be painful as hell. But Bob Holly's chops seem personal, like he has a personal vendetta against you, and he wants to see you bleed. I'm gonna go with Walter on that one. I wonder if John Cena ran into Nikki Bella today, or if Nikki. You know, Muhammad, I thought about that. I feel like it wasn't even a matter of running into each other. I would hope that they're both mature enough to where one of the others, you know, sought out the other, shook their hand, hey, how you doing? You know, I don't think it was a matter of them hiding from each other. They had to bump into each other. They had to talk. How can you not when they were such a big part of the WWE and each other's lives, you know? What do you think about Nikki Bella's segment, and how do you think they're going to use her going forward? I think it's a one-off. I think we're gonna build this feud up until Evolution. She's gonna have a matchup against Liv Morgan, and I think Liv Morgan goes over. I feel like Liv Morgan goes over, and then Nikki Bella, you know, goes off again and into celebrity. I tried muting it. Hopefully, you guys didn't hear me sneeze. I'm battling allergies right now, so I apologize for that. Gunther finna restore the world title for the thrill. I love Jey Uso. That's my dog. You know what I mean? 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet. But I think the world championship is probably better with Gunther. It's probably in better hands with Gunther. No disrespect to Jey. Love Jey. But I think Gunther's probably the better choice. He had his moment in the sun. It was fun. Appreciate it, but yeah. Please watch Bruiser Brody versus Lex Luger in a cage match. Good night. Appreciate you, Sir Robert. I will definitely add that to the list. Anything Brody, I'm down. Brody versus Luger. Cage. I'm going to add that to my list. Any chance of Nick Nemeth coming back to the WWE? I'm surprised that he doesn't have a family or a girlfriend. I mean, I'm sure he has a girlfriend. I mean, Nick Nemeth is, let's be real, he's a good-looking dude. You know, and he's been notorious to be with a lot of ladies, which is why I don't think he has a family. I don't think he's ready to settle down, but I don't know him personally. I think he does come back. I think we're going to see him in NXT with a partnership with TNA like that. He's going to be back there. When it's all said and done, though, I would not be surprised if he comes back like on a Legends deal. But yes, he will definitely be back at some point. I'm thinking by the end of the year, he makes an appearance on NXT. My favorite entrance song. Ooh, okay. I think I'm I think I'm just gonna go cult of personality. CM Punk. I never get tired of that song. So I'll probably go with that one. If I can, I'll give you my top three. It'll end up being Punk, Cult of Personality, Edge, Metalingus, and then at number three, I wanted to say Triple H, but I feel like yeah, we'll go Triple H. The game. What's the point of our truth cutting all of his hair on Raw? It's just it's symbolism. It's him getting rid of the past and embracing the future. You know, that was the last time we saw our truth was with that hair, with that braids. So I'm cutting it off is letting the fans know that like, hey, that's not me no more. I'm starting new. I'm starting fresh. What you knew is no longer the case. And I love the line. Shout out to San Fran because he called it, "The truth has set me free." We no longer have our truth. We no longer have that comedic character. Ron Killings is unleashed. It's the dawning of a new era in the Ron Killings character arc, and he's shedding away that comedic side of him with our truth. I would love to see the Hardys in one more ladder match, even if it's on NXT or the main shows. Oh yeah. I mean, hey, Julian, check out TNA. You know, they recently had a ladder match last fall as well. So those guys are still active with the ladders. Check out TNA. But I would like to see them back in WWE for one final run. R-Truth is going back to his 2008, 2009 look. I think you could even argue he might go back to like an 02 type of a look. Go ahead and drop your final comments and questions here in the chat. We're going to close up shop in a few minutes. That way I can take some allergy medicine and call it a night, guys. Again, I apologize for the sniffles, but I had to come on and talk about what happened tonight on Raw and share my thoughts and hear from you guys as well as members of the J area. Appreciate you guys as always stepping out and showing out for these streams to talk pro wrestling with me and allowing us to help grow this community by the day, really. How long do you think Triple H will last in WWE for? Ooh, that's a good question. Ideally forever, but maybe 10 to 15 years. Real graps, you don't need an allergy medicine. Allergy medicine needs me. Real grap. What is it? Real graps. I love that meme of Kurt Angle of Real Graps. I'm gonna look for it and try to throw it up on the community tab. But it's like I was feeling fine, and then like in the last few hours, the allergies kicked in, man. And I took allergy medicine already, low key. Be sure to check out the community tab the next time we go live. I gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't know about Thursday. I do have an appointment to go to on Thursday, so I don't want to guarantee that. But if something big happens on NXT or AEW, maybe I'll do a reaction live stream to that. So again, as I've always said, make sure you guys check out the community tab. Make sure you have your notifications on. That way you're up to date with all the pro wrestling content here on YouTube. Sam says you're allergic to WWE sponsors. Unfortunately, that might be it. There's a lot of them, dude. There's a lot of them. But I'll go ahead and close up here, guys. I want to thank you guys and thank all the members of the Main Event Mafia here that showed up for tonight's live stream, San Fran. Sam, Julian, Gabs, Mama Ramos, um, I say Julian, Sir Robert, all those devoted members of the Main Event Mafia. I appreciate you guys always showing up and showing out. Julian says, always enjoy being here. See you next stream. Appreciate you, Julian. Can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Everyone, have a great night. Again, keep up to date with those community posts and the notifications. But have a great night. Everyone, take care. Enjoy the rest of the week. And we'll come back here for another edition of the J Area Wrestling Show with, of course, yours truly, your humble host, Jose Ramos Jr. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Appreciate you all.